Story & Lee, the Tennessee Valley's most dynamic furniture store, featuring our Made in America galleries with solid wood dining and bedrooms, leather furniture, mattresses, and so much more. You want it? We've got it. With our 3 acres of showroom and our huge warehouse, we're sure to have exactly what you want. And it's all ready to be delivered to your home absolutely free. Just try that anywhere else. We are Story & Lee.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather at noon.
Well, happy Friday. Taylor Plott here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center with your latest forecast. We're dry today for the most part. There could be a few showers around later on this afternoon and evening, but nothing really widespread today. That changes though as we head into Saturday and then again Sunday night into Monday morning. That's when we have the chance for our severe weather potential. We have a lot to talk about. Let's dive right into it. First off, take a live look outside at our Arctic Air Skycam network, looking at Lawrenceburg, Florence, Pulaski, and Cherokee, and everything's looking the exact same. That's because there's all this cloud cover that's around this afternoon. And even though we have that cloud cover, we're still going to be warming up pretty nicely today. We're talking about temperatures getting close to 80 degrees in some places today, even with this cloud cover around. But again, this will be what we'll be dealing with for the next several days, talking today and into tomorrow, Sunday as well, and even into the part of Monday. That cloud cover still lingering across the area even after those storms move through Sunday. Right now, Lawrenceburg, 72 degrees with a 7-mile-per-hour wind. Not sure what the direction is. It might be variable out there, but most of the winds today will be coming out of the south. Some of them could be gusting upwards of 20 miles per hour or so. Watch that dew point, though. It's at 45 degrees, so there's still a lot of moistening in the atmosphere that needs to happen before any rainfall occurs. But we'll continue to see that moisture rise as those southerly winds push it off of the Gulf. Already at 75 degrees here in Florence on the campus of the University of North Alabama. We got a southeast wind there at 5 miles per hour. That dew point down there still at 42 degrees. Florence could easily be one of those places that hit the 80-degree mark today. Here's the temperature-wise, or here's the look at the temperatures across the entire area right now. Already 79 degrees in the Huntsville area, 74 in Athens, 72 like I mentioned here in Lawrenceburg, 75 up there in Homewald, 73 in Russellville, and 74 degrees over there in Iuka. The best place I can actually think that will reach 80 degrees today will generally be south of the Tennessee state line. There could be a few spots here and there like Parsons already coming up at 77 degrees that get close to 80 degrees today, but the best shot is going to be south of the Tennessee state line today, at least in our area. That's what we're talking about. Here's what we're looking at a broader perspective here on the satellite radar composite. Again, there's our area of clouds that will continue to linger throughout the remainder of the day. The best chance of rain will remain off to our west today, but this is what will be moving into our neck of the woods once we get into the day on Saturday. So let's go through the futurecast. What I'm going to do here is we're going to start off for the next 24 hours, and then we'll take a look at today and tonight, temperature-wise, forecast-wise, and then we'll start breaking down what's going to happen Saturday and then into Sunday. So for right now, next 24 hours, southerly winds continuing to push that moisture further to the north. Winds, again, could be gusty around 20 miles per hour or so today. Here are those showers that we're talking about. Very spotty, very light. That's going to be this evening, and then they'll continue to kind of move further into our area later on tonight and into tomorrow morning. Midnight tonight, still seeing mostly dry conditions, but here are those showers that will start to pop back up here on the Futurecast once we get into your Saturday morning. Temperatures still remaining on the mild side in the upper 50s and lower 60s, and then more showers can be expected throughout the morning. As you notice here, it's not going to be a complete washout, especially early on in the day. Just spotty showers here and there, so if you have any plans during Saturday morning into the early afternoon hours, keep that umbrella handy, but you might not need it until we get into the evening hours, and I'll get to that here in just a few seconds. Here's our forecast for today. Temperatures, like I said, getting up into the upper 70s and lower 80s with a few showers potentially. Tonight we'll be dropping back down into the upper 50s and lower 60s with that cloud cover still lingering across the area. 59 degrees is your low in Athens, 58 degrees here in Lawrenceburg, 61 over there in the Shoals. Rain chances over the next 7 days. Again, the bulk of the activity for tomorrow is going to be during the daytime, primarily the afternoon and evening, some lingering into the overnight hours. We're mostly dry Sunday during the day. There will likely be a few showers around, but our big rain chances and severe weather potential will be Sunday night into early Monday morning. Lingering showers on Monday, and then we have another system that's moving in Wednesday and Thursday that we'll have to keep an eye on, but we have to get through this Sunday system first. All right, let's walk through Saturday afternoon, and then we'll get into that day on Sunday. 5 p.m., seeing some of that storm potential developing over across parts of northwestern Alabama. Some of these could be on the strong side. I don't think it's going to be a severe weather day on Saturday, but some of these storms could pack a little bit of a punch out there, talking about gusty winds at 30 to 40 miles per hour, maybe some small hail, and of course the lightning with that as well. That moves through, and then we'll have another batch that potentially comes in behind it. So this isn't going to be one big push of rain and storms and you're done. It's probably going to be multiple rounds throughout the evening. So that moves through during the late evening hours on Saturday. Sunday morning, 6 a.m., if you're getting up to go to church, there still might be a few showers around. It's not going to be cold. Temperatures in the low to mid 60s out there, but that umbrella might need to be handy as you go into your morning hours on Sunday. This is 9 a.m. seeing, again, some showers, maybe even some thunderstorms during the morning hours on Sunday. And then we'll probably have a little bit of a break once we get into the afternoon hours, as you see here. Now let's step forward into that Sunday afternoon and evening period. A few showers are definitely possible during the day on Sunday, like we just showed Sunday morning. But as we go throughout the day, things should start to dry out a little bit more as we get what's called a capping inversion moving in overhead. That's warm air aloft that prevents any big, robust thunderstorms from developing, and that should keep most of the shower activity at bay during the day. But still, a few are definitely possible. But this is what we're going to be watching for, this line of storms that starts developing along that cold front, and that should be tracking on in during the late evening hours and early overnight hours going into your Monday morning. Right here, this is the GFS model at Monday at 2 a.m., and that's showing those lines of that line of storms moving on through our area here in southern Tennessee and northwestern Alabama during that roughly midnight to 2 a.m. period. Timing will probably change a little bit as we get closer. We get those high resolution models that come into play showing us better detail. But for now, I think that midnight to 2 a.m. is probably a good bet for that line to move through parts of Lawrenceburg and parts of the Shoals as well. By 8 a.m., that cold front and line shifts to our southeast, and that will be now impacting the Birmingham metro area and the Atlanta metro area. We're drying out behind that front, maybe a few lingering showers, but the clouds will still be in place as we go throughout the morning on Monday. And then by 1 p.m., still seeing those clouds across our area, but we're starting to dry out with that area high pressure moving on in, and that will give us a brief period of dry weather before we get into Wednesday and eventually Thursday with another system. So let's talk about the severe weather breakdown in more detail. We are in a level 3 out of 5 here for the majority of our area. Talk about Athens, Decatur, Russellville, the Shoals, over to Iuka, Savannah, Waynesboro, Lawrenceburg. All of our Tennessee counties are in that level 3 out of 5. Further to the southeast, you are in that level 2 out of 5. That includes parts of Morgan County, Coleman County, and then further off to the southeast. But again, all this goes to show is that there is a likelihood of severe weather across our area during that Sunday night into early Monday morning time frame. Here's a better breakdown on that timing, anywhere from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. for places like Centerville, Hohenwald, Waynesboro, Savannah, Hendersonville, Selmer. Once we get into that midnight to 5 a.m. time frame, we're talking about Columbia, Lewisburg, Pulaski, Lawrenceburg, the Shoals down towards Russellville, and then eventually once you get into that 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. time frame, that's when it's starting to shift further south of the Tennessee River for the most part. Decatur, Hartselle, Coleman, Double Springs, Hamilton, and Moulton. That's going to generally be in that 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. time frame. This can change over the next couple of days as we watch this transpire. And like I mentioned, we get that high resolution model data. We can fine tune these kind of time windows a little bit better, but that's a pretty good rough estimate at this point. As for those threats, again, everybody's going to be watching for that tornado potential. And it is there, but because we're dealing with a line of storms, that it doesn't necessarily limit the chance of seeing tornadoes, but the tornado potential starts to change as opposed to a supercell threat, where supercells, you can get those long track tornadoes that are on the ground for 30, 40, 50 miles. These are going to be typically a little more spin up like, so they might only be on the ground for maybe 5 to 6 minutes for only a handful of miles. Those are the type of tornadoes that we'll be looking for within that line. As we get into that damaging wind potential, that's definitely going to be greater because we're dealing with a line of storms. Some of those winds could be upwards of 70, maybe 80 miles per hour in some instances, and that could cause some significant damage. Those 80 mile per hour winds can easily just be as strong as an EF0 to EF1 tornado. So that's how that type of damage from straight line winds can be comparable to some of those lower end tornadoes. So just because you're getting damaging winds doesn't mean that you can't get significant damage from that. The other chance that we're going to be watching for is that hail potential. Golf ball size is possible because we'll have a lot of instability to work with. These storms that are within that line could be upwards of 50, 60,000 feet up in the sky, those tops of those storms, and that's going to allow those updrafts to get really, really strong and to produce that potential for that larger hail. Flooding's also a problem, but because we're dealing with a line, it's not going to be a significant issue, I think. So what you need to do to stay informed, like I mentioned throughout the entirety of the week today, go ahead and scan that QR code. That's going to give you our latest weather app. The Tennessee Valley Weather app is available on Apple and Android phones. So again, just scan that QR code or look up Tennessee Valley Weather in your app store. The other thing you need to do is make sure that your NOAA weather radio is ready to go. There's a little switch right here on that right side that says on and off, and you need to make sure that is on the on position because that will allow the alerts to actually be received by your weather radio and alert you, especially with this being a nighttime risk. You definitely need to have that NOAA weather radio handy, and while you're at it, also make sure that your phone has the WEA alerts on as well. You can find that in your settings. And again, that will be, your phone will actually alert you just like those Amber alerts that will go off from time to time throughout the day. As we look at your 7-day forecast, again, beyond that system that we're watching on Sunday, we'll dry out on Monday. Clouds still linger. We're still mild. Temperatures in the 70s. Our best day is probably going to be that Tuesday. Looking fantastic for your Tuesday. Mostly sunny skies with temperatures in the upper 60s and lower 70s. And then we'll keep an eye on that system moving in Wednesday and Thursday. Notice those temperatures back up into the 80-degree range. So that means that there will probably be some fuel for storms on that Wednesday to Thursday time frame. It's too early to know if there's going to be any robust severe weather potential with that, but it is something that we'll watch for. But for now, we just need to get through that Sunday system and keep checking back with the latest on that. That's what I have for you this afternoon from the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. Fred Gossage will be in with his Live at 5 with another update on that severe potential. So keep checking back for the latest and be sure to tune in for his newscast.
You're watching the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.